out to the Nerd Effect News Show, week ending June 2nd, 2014. I am one of your anchors, Dustin Vancouver, joined by my two buddies,
Michael Morgan,
Mason Ireland.
Huzzah and hooray, because we still can't make the actual yay sound because Nikki is still not here.
Yeah,
because she's lame and doesn't like staying up past, 9:30.
She acts like she has to be up at like 5:30 in the morning or something.
Yeah. We missed your face, Nikki.
I was to say, I can be up at 5:30 and still go to bed at 2.
Not easily, I imagine.
You can do it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty painful.
It sucks by the end of the next day, but I can still do it.
Poke, poke, nudge, nudge.
He's calling you out, Nikki.
And also, Nikki, hurry up and finish that book so Dustin can buy his copy.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, do it.
Just put this whole bet in perpetual limbo. Kind of like the same bet I've had with my two cousins, Alex and Cody, for the last 13 years or so, I'm sure, where we argue over the whole scarf stuff thing from Sandlot and how to build us more. I don't think that one's gonna die. It's just gonna rage on until we're old and in a nursing home.
Or we could just watch Sandlot.
Or it's the internet. I'm sure there's a transcript out there somewhere. At the time, when we were kids, we did not have access to that information.
Yes.
Now we do. In fact, best way to figure that out, go fucking turn the subtitles on a DVD.
Yeah. So.
I wonder if the original Sandlot's on Netflix.
Probably.
I'll have to go find it, turn the subtitles on, figure it out.
You'll either be like, ha, bitches, or you'll be like, yeah, I'm never bringing that
Here's $5. TX. Okay, so before we get on with our news this evening, gentlemen, we have our first piece of fan mail.
In quite some time.
In our feedback email. Also, to Helen.
Yes.
Thank you for sending us postcard from Germany.
Yep. It said wank.
It did say wank.
Yep.
I was also noticing how the skyline looked very, very similar to a TARDIS.
Yeah, yes, it did.
So, thanks, Alan. You're awesome. Now, to our feedback email. This one comes from our old buddy Tim Faree. We'll open this line with Dear Mason, Michael, Nikki, and Dustin. And then in parentheses he states, in order of who will live longest during the rise of the machines. Damn you.
I'm good with that.
Dope.
He says most of this has to do with our Nerd TV episode we did a couple weeks ago. A few notes regarding Nerd TV. Constantine. Mason. They're not going to allow him to smoke on network television. You're just going to have to get over that. As for the cancer thing, well, I think Mason's twitching right now just by me saying that. He started twiddling his fingers right when I said that. As for the cancer thing, well, you can get lung cancer from things besides smoking. Just look at Walter White. Your response? Rebuttal? Anything?
3-pack silk cuts a day habit.
Okay. Mason's a stickler for tradition, and
especially when it comes to very specific comic book characters, and Constantine's one of them.
That's true. I can't imagine. I mean, they have to have gotten away with smoking on other shows before on network television.
Oh yeah,
police dramas and whatnot. I mean,
yeah,
Constantine's a fictional character, just like anything else.
Yeah,
but they don't want heroes to look cool by smoking on TV anymore.
Well. Don't need a modern day Marlboro man.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, just give him a vape stick.
Oh man, I think Mason would just throw his computer monitor out the window.
No, my computer monitor is far too precious.
Okay, his parents' TV.
Nah, I like my parents.
Just run across the street, kick in the door, and just throw your neighbor's TV out the window.
There you go. Plus, that would be an amazing one on the news afterward.
Fanboy rages after finding out his favorite character won't be smoking on TV, or it'll be headlined something like that.
Yeah.
Tim goes on and says, I'm more worried about the content of the show. Hellblazer gets pretty dark and gory in spots, which they can't show on TV, and deals with a lot of Christian imagery and themes in a not exactly reverent way, which can piss off certain conservative segments of our country. I think cutting down on that would be a bigger change to substance of the story. But like you said, still gonna watch it.
Well, he's pissed off both heaven and hell. Generally plays both sides against the middle in any situation he can. Sees his use of magic as a con job against all the other magic users on the earth and beyond. He's a pretty blasphemous character in a lot of respects, both towards heaven and hell. Oh yeah, and there's 3 lords of hell, which is generally not accepted in the Christian faith. And well, at one point during the comic, he carves a protective sigil on the half demon, half angel child of an angel and a succubus who fell in love through the succubus's stomach. He needed a cigarette afterward. I'm just going to put that out there.
I don't even smoke, and I'd probably need one after that.
Yeah, it's also that's an iconic image from like the covers of Hellblazer. He's standing there smoking a cigarette, leaning up against a wall, both of his arms covered up to his elbows in blood, his sleeves rolled up, entire front of his shirt covered in blood, and holding a bloody straight razor, and basically looking put out like he's had a bad day.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right. Goes on to say, now Gotham. I seem to be less optimistic about this show than most of my friends. I'm leery of the way it seems that all of Batman's greatest foes just happen to grow up in Gotham with Bruce Wayne, and they just happen to have meetings and interactions that weirdly parallel their interactions later in life. Feels hokey to me, and an excuse not to have to tell new stories or create new characters. I think the less it focuses on Bruce and the more it focuses on Gordon and Gotham as a city, the happier I'll be. That's just my impression from the trailers that I've seen. Anything on that?
I'm not expecting it to be that accurate to the Batman story in general.
Well, again, and think of what they did with Smallville. I mean,
yeah,
it's got to be along the same lines. Later in the series they had other supers show up in the series too. I mean,
yeah,
it's bound to happen. I think, and it's
plus most of Batman's villains are actually physically older than Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So they were already criminals before he came on the scene, and I think this part of what they're doing with this is showing how they become the Joker, the Riddler, the Penguin, etc. You know, I mean, Catwoman's his age, and they even show her as, I think, I don't know how old the actress is, but they kind of to my impression, like her and Bruce are like 10 to 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And Poison Ivy is about that same age too. But of course, Catwoman's not really a villain completely. She helps him sometimes.
Starts as a villain,
they make out occasionally, kind
of ends up as an anti-hero.
Still does villainous stuff sometimes. Yeah, she's one of the odder characters in DC.
She's a cat. She likes shiny shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she's going to take it if she likes it.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they, so I think it's going to kind of show how, hopefully not necessarily Bruce Wayne becomes Batman, because that involves bringing back in Ra's al Ghul and all that stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
But because he doesn't really pursue that too much until he's older. But how the villains around him become what they are, that kind of makes him feel the need, more so than just his parents, to become the Batman. So if they do that, I think that could be an interesting show if they do it that way. But I do hope they keep a lot of influence, or most important, not influence, on.
Damn air conditioning.
Yeah, feels so nice. It's all air conditioned and happy in here. Makes me tired. But I'm hoping they keep the focus on Gordon most of the time.
And I'm pretty sure they will. I would hope that, Bruce ends up playing more of a secondary character in this. The other thing that I was thinking that you could probably see out of it too is that Bruce does discover the Batcave at a relatively early age.
Yes.
So you could start to see probably that inner working of that, and maybe his growing relationship with Alfred.
Yeah.
So that could be another thing too. One you didn't mention, Once Upon a Time. The first 2 seasons, which are on Netflix, 44 episodes. Oh, thanks for the count, Tim. Basically, all the fairy tale creatures get transported to Storybrooke, Maine, but none of them remember who they are due to a curse. The show jumps back and forth between their world and our world and has some interesting and unexpected takes on the classic Mother Goose style fables. I like and think you should check it out. Which, I agree, if you guys haven't seen it, it's a pretty interesting show, especially for an ABC series. I wouldn't...
I caught like a couple of the middle episodes of the first season, so I wasn't able to get into it because I was lost. But
you do kind of got to watch it from the beginning to get the full aspect of it. Once Upon a Time is good.
I would say, but it looked interesting.
The other one that's good, Grimm.
Yeah, I saw the first half of the first season of Grimm. It was pretty good.
Grimm's all right. Anything on those, Mike?
I see him on the feeds. I just never clicked on them and watched them.
See, I'm in the same boat though because I feel like there's way more interesting things I could be watching.
It's like
Arrow.
Yeah,
which,
Arrow.
By the way, I'm 11 episodes in on Arrow.
Nice.
Good.
And I now get all the references that we've made so far. So
Well, seeing how Arrow and Shield are on the end of their season now, it's kind of like, I don't have anything else to watch. I might have to start watching some of those.
Yep. Plus, Game of Thrones is over in 2 more episodes.
Don't tell me that.
Why you gotta break my heart?
Man.
It's only 10 episodes a season. This is the fourth season. They've done the same pattern for 3 years now.
I know, but I can live in denial.
But
It's not just a river in Egypt, Dustin.
Yes, it is. No. And lastly, but not least, Mike. P.S. Chill it on the yay boobies thing.
Oh.
Which,
but boobies.
I don't know. You'll have to take that up with Tim. Personally, it kind of makes the show a little bit these days. So it's just kind of a part of the legend that is the Nerd Effect podcast. Which I don't know how I feel about that now that I've said it out loud.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll take it in stride. Anyway, thanks Tim for getting to us. Much appreciated. So for the rest of you, if you ever want to get back to us on any show, by all means, please send an email, feedback@nerdeffect.com. It's always open.
Yes.
You can always put something up on our Facebook page, message the Facebook page directly. I don't care. I will get your message. And I will read it.
Yes.
Like a fucking champ.
24 hours, 7
Which
day
I think,
week.
I think that's the least amount of stumbling I've done over reading over a feedback email ever.
Also helps when you don't read them cold. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, I know, and I read through it once. So, okay. Now I gotta find my news again.
Mm-hmm.
Aha, okay. We didn't decide who's going first.
You're already talking. Let's go.
Alright.
Okay. I was getting ready for some Kai Bai Bo action.
Oh, we should do it.
Okay.
All right.
Kai Bai Bo.
Oh, Mike, you destroyed us.
Yep.
All
That
right.
goes first.
Well, he decides who goes first.
Yeah. You're up. Go ahead.
Alright. Butterfly in the sky.
I can go twice as high. Take
a
a look.
It's in a book. It's reading Rainbow.
Hey, sorry, guys. I just don't remember the song.
I just think we need to keep our day jobs.
Yeah, I'm not going to make any money as a singer. I admit this.
So, when I first put this news article up on our Facebook page, well, let's start from the beginning. LeVar Burton, the goddamn kindliest man probably to roam these fine lands of ours.
Or at least the most kindly man involved with Hollywood.
Yes. Has started a Kickstarter campaign to resurrect the entirety that was the Reading Rainbow.
Yes.
Anybody who's a Gen Xer, Gen Yer, maybe even, possibly grew up.
Well, the show only went off the air 5
2006,
years.
I think was the
2009.
2006, ran in reruns till 2009.
Okay. Still.
But still, you could have caught it. So I guess it wasn't that long.
Yeah, yeah.
But, so.
Kids older than 8.
Yes. Kids. Oh, I feel old. That was a shot in the ribs. LeVar Burton was the host of, Reading Rainbow, co-creator, if not the creator. I'm not quite sure which. When it went off the air, he rebought the rights to it so that he maintained it. It lived the rest of its life, and up to this point, as an app.
Yes.
So, but his argument was that not everybody has access to a cell phone or a tablet. The Reading Rainbow needs to be expanded out into classrooms, onto computers, create full online software, so on and so forth. So, he started a Kickstarter campaign and wanted to raise $1 million to get this started.
Man, $1 million, that'd be hard to do, wouldn't it?
That's a lot of money.
One day later.
I think it was 12 hours
or 12 hours later.
Yeah. 12 hours later, there's a video of him watching his ticker on Kickstarter kick over to $1 million. And then a video was released of him emotionally expressing his gratitude about thank you to your fans, thank you to such and such. You guys are awesome. It's really teary. It's adorable. Then he starts putting out stretch goals to get this bad boy over to $5 million. Well, now at $5 million, he plans to basically put it in as many classrooms as possible, under his own power. It'll be basically free to access to any elementary school that's,
they can't afford it.
Yeah, poverty level, basically, that just can't afford to have these kinds of things in their classroom. So, that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
And, and I loved Reading Rainbow as a kid. It was on PBS, and
yep.
I was like, hey, look, Jordy's talking to me. And it was awesome.
Where's his visor? I don't understand.
Insert stretch goal. Insert $10,000 donation.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Lunch with LeVar Burton, and you get to wear his visor.
Yep.
For 10 G's.
And it is the original visor.
Tell me you wouldn't have a nerd boner.
Oh, yeah.
Putting that thing on, just LeVar's face sweating all just right there on your face. Lots of pictures, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So currently, as of the date of this recording, June 2nd, 2014, at 9:19 p.m. Mountain Time, they are currently up to 3,318,849 bills. And that is a lot of fucking dough.
Yep.
And that is pretty damn awesome. I want to see what the highest donation thing is here. How big does this get?
I think it's the $10,000.
Still got the Star Trek visor. They have 4 left out of 10 of the school assemblies. If you do $10,000 there. Adopt a school for $5,000. You can choose a school that will be the first to receive it and get a personal recorded video from LeVar Burton. The $3,500 ones I think went pretty quick. That's private dinner with LeVar.
Yeah. And there's also the Comic-Con one where you can pick a con of your choice, and he will meet you there and hang out and have lunch with you.
There's a bunch of group picnics.
And get you the tickets to go to that con. You have to get your own room and airfare, but... You're like, Comic-Con, please.
$800 will get you Reading Rainbow live in New York. You get 3 tickets. Private meet and greet. Nice. But anyway, there's a lot of cool things in here. We'll put a link up to the Kickstarter on the post notes.
Yep.
As well as the article that we got this from. Which is going to be horribly obsolete, but whatever. Maybe I'll just put the Kickstarter link up because that thing's going to be constantly updated up to any point. So feel free to go on there and check it out.
Like a link to the YouTube video of him.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's the 1 million video too.
And make sure even if you're already convinced now that you've heard about it to donate to this Kickstarter, watch the video anyway. It's great. Not the thank you video. That one's good too. But like the initial video,
the Kickstarter video.
The Kickstarter video. It's great.
Yeah, and don't take his word for it. Anything else on that?
Nope.
All right.
All of my feels from my childhood rush out when I think about this, and it's happy.
I know. I still have fond memories of like sitting at my grandma's like. She had like a bar area, you know, in her cabin up in Donley, and it had 3 stools next to it, and that's where we would eat breakfast. And she had one of those little under counter Mano TVs that were like 4 or 5 inches, weren't horribly big. Yeah. But I remember watching Reading Rainbow while we eat breakfast up there all the time. It's good times.
Yep.
All right, Mike.
Yay. So we ready to break open this quantum bitch?
Yes.
Or not, because if you did, it wouldn't.
Yeah. So, scientists achieve reliable quantum teleportation for the first time.
Reliable?
Reliable being that, yes, their experimentations have been 100% successful. Whereas previous experiments where like they were doing it by satellite was inconclusive on a lot of it. There were successes, but it was inconclusive and inconsistent. This experiment, the reason why it's making the news so much is because it was basically 100% of their experiments came up successful. Now, okay, let me back it up here a little bit. So, at one point, Einstein had said that basically the quantum mechanics doesn't fit into his scientific world because it's the spooky action at a distance. Well, the spooky action, which is what nowadays what they call the quantum mechanics, where it's just had it in front of me. I'll get to it. It's in here. But yeah, so basically Einstein at one point said, no, it doesn't hold water. And now everybody's like, okay, yeah, it does hold water, and we're going to prove Einstein wrong. So everybody's like, flopping their dicks around trying to come up with to be the ones that actually prove it wrong.
Right.
So, it's one of those things.
Measure your epic science wang.
Yes.
Boom. Yep. So, the experiments they were doing on, this article specifically, they have the, damn it, I know it's right here in front of me, staring me in the face, and I don't see it. And as soon as I see it, I'm just going to want to slap myself for not thinking of it. Oh, you're waiting for it, aren't you?
No.
All right.
How dare you assume
such things? This is
such
what happens
things.
when you get older, guys. The brain's the first to go. Entangled pairs.
Yes.
That's the term I was looking for. Yes, entangled pairs. So basically, they have entangled pairs about 10 feet away from each other that they were able to, with basically reciprocate the experiment and have 100% results from the experiment every time, that's the first time that's happened with this type of experiment. So the way they do the experiment is they have these qubits, which is a bit, a quantum bit, basically, and that the qubits are in a quantum pair. Then they have the qubit inside a diamond at extremely low temperatures, which then they can measure the rotation of the qubit. So they can see that when one of them has a change, that the other one changes with it, so their rotations remain the same. And that's how they can measure it. So basically what it is you're having a bit of data being measured across the distance, which right now is only 10 feet. But they're planning on expanding the experiment to much greater lengths to confirm that the same data is being transferred with the same amount of success. So that's why it's exciting, is in theory, no matter how far away you get these two bits apart from each other, the readings will be the same. So, what does this matter to us?
Please tell me.
All right.
I'm dying to know.
So, how about quantum teleportation? Yeah. So, this is basically the theory that is making some scientists say, okay, yeah, the teleportations in Star Trek may be possible. And this is what's making them seriously consider that could become a reality at some point. A few more probably immediate practical applications would be for long-range communications. So, because effectively, if you have one bit that's reacting the exact same way as the other bit, then really all you need is to know basically how to transmit the data then. So you can affect one bit to rotate a certain way so that the other bit can basically do the same thing, and you translate it into digital data.
That was my first thought too, is like, how quickly can we incorporate this into internet?
Yeah.
And it's
Just literally real-time fucking downloads and shit.
Yeah, and anyone who's played Mass Effect, they actually talk about the quantum entanglement as a communication. It's it's you have to have basically the transmitters effectively for both of them are not able to communicate to any other transmitters, just each other. So it's limited because you have only it's like you got phone A and phone B, and they can only talk to each other. They can't talk to any other.
You need a
phones.
router.
There is no router.
Oh.
Yeah, the quantum mechanics is the router.
Yeah.
So it's not possible to have those devices work with another communication. So if you wanted to talk to another location, you would actually have to have a separate pair of bits to talk to each other and set up a new communication link that way. But in Mass Effect, that's what they use is when you're talking to the smoking man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Mass Effect 2.
In Mass Effect 2, yeah. Every time you're talking to him, you're using one of the entangled pair to do the communication. So, and that's one
It's
thing.
also the ultimate secure line because
Yeah.
there's no way to interrupt the communication, and you can only communicate from point A to point B. Point A's and B can move relative to each other with the idea with these, but because you have the entangled pair, they can't. Unless somehow you could replicate one end of the entangled pair, which is hypothetically impossible, you could never intercept communications. So, you're also looking at 100% secure communication. So,
Yep. And let's see. There's
and
one
also
other-
very quick over very long distances.
Yeah, I mean, effectively, in theory, no matter how far away you get the quantum pair apart from each other, the reaction is instantaneous, which
Right.
in turn means you're basically transmitting data faster than the speed of light.
Does that mean there won't be any more awkward satellite feeds when, like, there's a news reporter on location and it's like a 10-second delay between point A and point B?
Not exactly.
Not exactly.
Let's say you could have one pair on Jupiter and one on Earth, and effectively have no delay in the communication back and forth there. But still, from wherever the communication is being sent to on Earth, that still has to go out to everybody else, and that's going to be a delay there. But you could have basically interstellar communication instantly.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it'd be instantly, no? It'll be at speed of light.
That's the thing about the spooky
That's the thing
pair.
about the entangled pairs is that they react. Hypothetically, no matter how far of apart they get, they react instantaneously to any change in each other. So there is no time delay between the pair.
And this is part of the reason
So
that
it's
Einstein
actually
calls it the spooky.
faster than the speed of light.
Yeah.
If you move them more than, at the speed of light, if you're at a distance of 1 light minute, you have a 1 minute delay in communication if your communication is moving at the speed of light.
Right.
The quantum pair would have 0 lag.
But how is that possible?
That's the weird part. That's like
Like, it shouldn't be, but it
It
is.
shouldn't be, but it is. Yeah, quantum physics. That's the whole thing with most quantum physics is it's in that it shouldn't work, but it does category.
Which is-
Because
I'm guessing
most of our modern understanding of physics still boils down to Newton and Einstein. And anything that's in the quantum physics realm is weird, fringy stuff in a lot of ways that may or may not work. We're starting to prove that this may actually work, which means if they can get 100% conclusive evidence that this works over any distance, or at least distances that matter, like if they can get it a light minute away and do it, or a light hour away and do it, significant distances, not distances like over 10 feet, I don't notice any communication lag talking to you, even though my lips and your lips, as we're speaking to one another, we're seeing the motion of the lip before we hear the sound.
Right.
Due to the lag between light.
Everything we do is in the past.
Right. But the idea behind this is that if they can get this proven that, like, besides the idea of teleportation and communication, if they can prove that the entangled pairs are instantly reacting to each other over basically any distance, it basically falsifies a lot of Einstein's work. And we will have to rewrite the paradigm of physics because of it.
Let's do it.
So it's a big deal. And it's got a lot of physicists both interested and scared.
Well, there's gotta be some guy out there who's like, laws, schmaz, let's fuck shit up.
Well, yeah.
Kind of like that old, what was that joke I told you a couple weeks ago? What's the last thing the human race will ever hear?
Watch this!
Yeah, two scientists going, try it this way.
So,
Yeah.
I think it was Bill Nye that told that joke. It was pretty funny.
was it or Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Pretty sure it was Bill Nye.
Okay. But either one of them would be funny from.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's actually kind of a bit of a paradox in this whole thing too, though. So, a lot of the, like, quantum mechanics and bit behind it is based on, like, superposition. So that's a quantum state where you have the qubit, the quantum data in the qubit is in multiple states at the same time.
Yes.
Oops,
So,
sorry.
yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know if anyone's heard of, the Schrodinger cat?
Schrodinger's cat.
Schrodinger. That's always,
Schrodinger.
Say Schrodinger?
Schrodinger.
Yeah, it's got the double dots over it, so I guess that's a no, huh?
Yeah. Schrodinger.
Schrodinger.
There you go.
There.
It's a quick German lesson.
Yes. So
The cat.
yeah. So is the cat dead? Is the cat alive? We don't know. So it's in both states at the same time. Superposition is kind of the same thing, but it's in basically it is in multiple states at the same time.
Yes.
And so it's kind of a paradox because in order to be able to send data over that type of distance in a quantum pair, you have to be able to observe the quantum data.
Right.
Which if you observe the quantum data, then it no longer exists in that state. So, yeah. Insert brain explosion. So, yeah, this guy's way smarter than any of us here trying to get this stuff figured out. Mason's looking at me funny.
I think I'll figure it out for all y'all.
Not a physicist. I will leave them to it, and I will applaud them, but I don't really have the inclination to do that much math.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, yay, teleportation may actually be a real thing at some point. I'm not expecting it in our lifetime, though.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I'll just be happy if they, take an apple and go from one spot to another with it. That would be kind of cool.
Yay, Tron.
Yeah, I would say take an orange, put it into the grid, and then bring it back out of the grid.
Well, then at that point, you would just have a replicator.
I'd be running over there going, lol, grid me.
Yeah. Just to ride a light cycle.
Yep.
Yeah.
So does that mean you have, Daft Punk as your constant background music, too?
That would still be awesome.
Would never stop.
Yeah.
Never. Okay.
Yes. So, on to some news that's a little more understandable than Mike's. Okay, I actually did a pretty good job of understanding it. But,
Okay.
It's because it's in your realm of knowledge.
No, I meant understanding Mike's.
Well,
Oh.
just understanding me.
Well, I read the news article.
Okay.
So, in both history and theater culture, because I don't necessarily want to call it pop culture, because I don't know if Shakespeare would be modern pop culture of anything except for remakes of his plays into teen romance flicks.
Well, we have the Shakespeare Festival here.
Yes. But one of Shakespeare's more famous plays, Richard III, called Richard III, rudely stamped with the king's hunched form, revealing the twisted soul within. Well, back in the day, Richard III fought against the Tudors, was replaced by Henry VIII. We all know how that went. Many wives, many deaths after Henry VIII took over from Richard III.
I've seen the show.
Richard III was basically had a smear campaign set up against him, calling him hunchback and twisted and all this other stuff. Actual reports on-hand reports from the day say that he was actually a pretty fair monarch and pretty well liked before he was overthrown. So, go smear campaigns. And, of course, Shakespeare later on picked up on knowing what they said about him in the smear campaigns and kept with the whole he was hunchbacked thing. Turns out that Richard III was indeed not a hunchback. He did, however, have scoliosis, which is a curvature of the spine. But it's usually a left-to-right curvature, not a forward-to-back curvature.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't hunch you over. It basically makes you kind of shorter and can lean to the side a little bit sometimes. Nowadays, totally curable. I actually, one of my fellow anthropology majors back at Boise State had scoliosis and and during one summer she had corrective surgery to fix it or partially fix it. It takes multiple surgeries to actually get it completely gone. Is at least as strong as hers was, and from the look of the model of Richard III's skeleton, his probably would have taken multiple surgeries too.
Yeah, they said his was damn near a 90-degree angle, right?
Yeah, well, it's not two 90-degree angles because
Yeah.
it arcs out and then back in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like a letter S on there, just about.
So he wasn't hunchbacked, but he had a lot of mobility issues because of this. Scoliosis can really, really mess up your mobility. So they found him. They found Richard III a couple of years ago. Surprise. Under a parking lot.
Parking lot. How dignified.
And yeah. So they've made using scans, CT scans and whatnot, have made a highly accurate 3D printed polymer model of his spine to check it out on. And yeah, so he had scoliosis. He wasn't a hunchback. He wasn't, and he probably wasn't the terrible twisted man that Shakespeare and the Tudors made him out to be.
We should go resurrect Shakespeare, show him those pictures of the spine, and go, shame on you.
And
write us more plays, damn it.
Yeah, and after the heart attack, stroke, coronary, and aneurysms of being resurrected, and having that little shock to your system, yeah.
Well, considering he probably has no more internal organs at this point,
or flesh,
or yeah, that's what I'm saying. You'd just be resurrecting a skeleton.
Lich.
We'll clone him.
There you go. Yeah, but yeah, so. So he wasn't the monster that people have made him out to be, probably physically, and from, like I said, the accounts that they had of from the day, probably wasn't the monster sociopolitically that they made him out to be either.
Mm-hmm. He was all bent around like that. He's probably a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there we go. More archaeology news, because archaeology and anthropology are awesome.
Yay.
Yay. Still feels wrong.
It does. Miss your face. Anyway.
All right. Any other miscellaneous news?
Yeah.
Yeah. One, Watch Dogs is awesome. It is an incredibly fun game. And as I now refer to him, Glenn Douchemaster Beck.
Oh, yes. Jesus Christ.
Needs to do a little... Well, okay, I understand why he doesn't do research. If he did research...
he might be credible?
Well, no, if he did research, he couldn't say what he says on his show, because he would know he was wrong. Well, he could still say it, but... you know... Like, if he actually tried to bring up research on his show, it would always show that he is wrong.
Oh.
So he can't do research, because that would prove him wrong. He is a big fan of rhetoric and anecdotal evidence, not statistics and actual evidence. He needs to do things like learn the differences between causality and causality, and the fact that causality does not imply causality. And also, when talking about things, remember the numbers that he's talking about. This was actually posted due to Watch Dogs, but I'm going to go into the part about COD first, even though I don't really care about COD that much. On his show, he was discussing about how, people in America automatically jump to guns, and guns are the problem in America. And then he starts trying to play video games instead. I propose that he is both correct and incorrect on those statements.
But Call of Duty is teaching. That's the word that bugs me.
Yeah.
Teaching kids.
Teaching kids how to murder. One, it is a game. Being able to aim on a game does not correlate to being able to aim with a real firearm.
Word.
You don't have auto aim in real life.
Yeah. I was saying, there is also no aim assist for all you console jockeys out there that's built into COD and games like that.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're playing it on a PC, you actually have to, aim with your mouse.
You really don't need it on a PS3.
And by the way,
Or
in real
Xbox,
life, you can't turn off the friendly fire.
Yeah, there's also that. But, you know, and there have been instances of people who have played video games because they were teenagers or adults below the age of 50 now, who have been mentally disturbed in some way and have gone on rampages and shooting. Some of them may have blamed the games. Others, other times, uninformed officials blamed games, not because it was an easy cause and way out that allowed for them to find a scapegoat, but it was probably more than likely scapegoating because they had no actual evidence.
Mm.
And not everyone is a well person. There are people that are mentally disturbed out there. However, I propose that it is not the gun's fault, nor is it the video game's fault. It is not a combination of the gun and the video game in any way. It is the fact that there was a mentally disturbed person who wanted to cause damage. And yes, in America, we have guns and they're relatively prevalent in our society, which makes them easier to get a hold of. But if someone is dedicated to causing harm and problems for society or for an individual, they will find a way to do it. You can use a stick if it comes down to it.
Quick, outlaw sharpened pencils.
Yeah. Outlaw pencils and crutches. You gotta get rid of the crutches because they're long and you can hit someone like 4 feet away with one.
And frying pans.
And frying pans. Yeah, I mean...
And cinder blocks.
Yeah, and shoes.
Cars, because you can run people over with cars.
Yeah. It's...
Grand Theft Auto!
I actually try really hard in Watch Dogs not to run people over.
How many people die from cars every year compared to guns?
Tons more.
Exactly.
Car accidents are one of the worst causes of deaths around the world. But people don't want to outlaw cars. But, you know, outlawing a video game or a gun, depending on which side of this debate you're on, sounds much better because it gives you a scapegoat and you can feel better about yourself. Now, now onto the Watch Dogs part of it. He claims, Glenn Douchemaster Beck claims...
Douchemaster.
I like it. It's a good nickname for him. Glenn Douchemaster Beck claims that Watch Dogs teaches you how to hack. Now, I'm not an expert on the subject of hacking myself. Haven't been for quite some time. Not since Pascal was a viable programming language. Because back then, I was a hacker because I wanted to learn how programs worked. And I happened to have a Mac. So I learned Pascal. Or an Apple, I should say. Not even a Mac yet. It was an Apple II. So I learned Pascal because that's what you programmed in for the Apple back then. I was a hacker in the meaning of the term that I tried to learn how this thing worked. I wanted to know how the guts worked. I wasn't necessarily interested in the information that I might glean, like, as some people think hackers are interested in, like, bank accounts and stuff. Most hackers are not. Those are crackers. Hackers are interested in knowledge. But he says, even though the skills crackers and hackers use are the same, but he talks about how, you know, Watch Dogs teaches you how to hack. I'm pretty sure. Now, I mean, granted, computers and phones have gotten a lot more powerful since the days of Pascal. I'll give it that. But I hit the Q key to hack something in Watch Dogs. Pretty sure it takes more than that still.
No. Lies. Propaganda. Mason, you're against us. You're against the system.
Yes. You must always inherently question the system, otherwise the system will never change for the better.
Boom. I think Mason's trying to hack my brain right now.
But, yeah, so, yeah, Glenn the Douchemaster Beck is just trying to stir up more fear among his and hatred among his conservative constituents that don't bother to actually do any research into anything. Because, well, if Call of Duty was teaching people to kill and influencing people to kill, I think there'd be a lot more dead people out there, considering how many millions of copies Call of Duty has sold over the years.
Let me put this out there. I am 31 years old. I have grown up pulling people's heads off their shoulders, headshots, fucking kicks to the balls, annihilating entire cities. Not once have I decided to go off the rails because a video game inspired me to do so.
Right.
The bottom line is that chances are the person already had something fucked up about them.
Yeah.
They needed help long ago.
And it wasn't the video game's fault.
Yeah, that message was already in their brain before they even laid their hands on a video game. They may have gotten some ideas from a couple of video games, but they already had the thought. It was already there.
Exactly.
And people did these things long before video games existed.
Yes. I would say...
I would open up a whole can of worms by bringing up the whole Columbine thing, but that fucking shit pissed me off, too. I mean, the act of it was pretty bad, but then they start going around blaming the Matrix and Marilyn Manson and...
Well,
We don't know these things.
Granted, I was out of school at the time, but my girlfriend at the time was a senior in high school. She was pulled into the counselor's office the next day because of 3 articles of her clothing that she wore, on a semi-regular basis. She had a pair of bright fuck off electric blue latex pants.
Boom.
Nice.
A pair of black fake leather latexy kind of. They had a kind of a texture to them, so it didn't look like latex, but they were technically latex, but kind of looked like fake leather pants. And God forbid she wore a trench coat.
Mm-hmm.
So she and most of her friends were pulled into the office of her high school the next day and questioned.
That's profiling.
Yep. But it's okay when you're a concerned citizen doing it to a teenager. No, it's not okay. You're
just gonna piss them off.
Yeah, but
or just they become whatever.
Yeah, but the thing is, it is profiling, and blaming Marilyn Manson, blaming the Matrix. Media is not ever the cause of things, or they also blamed. I think it was Doom that the Columbine kids were playing.
Yeah.
But they blamed Doom. I grew up playing Doom and Quake and Unreal, all these games.
Duke Nukem.
Mm-hmm. I can vouch for the fact that wielding a chainsaw like that is just not practical.
No.
It's not.
That shit's heavy, son.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
and you're just as likely to touch yourself apart than you are somebody else.
Yeah, but these games are not... I mean, granted, I'm preaching to the choir with talking to the Nerd Effect audience, but
I know
the games are not the problem. Even the guns are not the problem, because I know a lot of the Nerd Effect listeners also are supporters of the Second Amendment, and it's not the gun or the video game. It's not society. It's the individual. These are outliers. And, in the case of Columbine, a couple of outliers found each other, and because of that, were able to do a significant amount of damage. And the fact that they wore trench coats is just what they wore. It was part of what their clique in high school wore. It wasn't the article of clothing is not indicative of a problem. The game isn't indicative. It's
horseshit.
It's statistical outliers are what happen, and those statistical outliers are the problems. Because I'm in my late 30s. If I was and I was raised on this stuff, if I was gonna flip out and kill somebody, it would have happened a long time ago, and I'd be a statistic at this point.
Chances are it probably would not have been video games that caused you to go that route.
No, in my case, it definitely would have been Dungeons and Dragons.
Lol.
So you'd be the kid running through your school with a fucking Claymore, just
Yes.
Yeah.
Wearing a kilt.
be inspired, I guess, right?
Yeah. Go big or go home. That's all I gotta say.
And then have a stack of flyers that you stick on the wall. D&D made me do it. And click that on
Oh,
the wall.
Jesus
cut off somebody's
Christ.
head. Put another one
Yeah.
up on the wall.
Like a tally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, you just destroyed West Coast games in one shot. It's like, well, looks like we have to quit production.
Poor Wizards.
Lol.
But no,
Oh yeah, Wizards. Sorry.
yeah. But yeah, no, it's not the, and again, it's not the game. You have to have mental instability in the first place to gain not necessarily reasoning for your desired actions, but even inspiration for the desired actions.
Are you on the pedestal of blame the parents too?
The parent, I don't think you should necessarily blame the parents, but the parents should have been paying enough attention to their children to find warning signs of things like sociopathic behavior or psychotic or behavior, or psychopathic behavior. You should be paying enough attention to understand these to see, Johnny's not quite right. I think we better take him to see a psychologist. And playing a video game isn't the sign. Playing a role-playing game isn't the sign. Being good at shooting a gun isn't the sign. Those aren't the signs you're looking for. The signs you're looking for are how they behave socially with other people. Did Johnny have a fetish for cutting off the neighbor's cat's heads as a child? Things like that.
Does he cut himself?
Incorrectly, so he lives. So yeah, but
It's not even that anymore. It's like it's surface cutting. Like they're just nicking at their skin.
Yeah, I know.
So it looks like they fucking took a cheese grater to it.
yeah,
Which is
pathetic. But
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it's
YOLO. Pop. Oh, what do you know? You only live once there.
yeah.
And now you're dead.
But the
Yay.
idea is, it's
Mike, you're not helping.
yeah, but yeah, it's
Hey, if
the
anybody's
parents-
running around yelling YOLO, they deserve it.
But yeah, the parents are. The parents have a heavy burden to bear because they need to pay attention to their family. And if there are warning signs, they need to pay attention to those warning signs and do something about it. However, a good sociopath shows no warning signs until it's too late. So,
Yeah, good luck.
yeah, because sociopaths know how to blend into society and look correct. Psychopaths don't. They don't care.
You just go, what feelings?
Yeah. Whereas sociopaths know how to feign feelings.
Like Sherlock.
Yep.
Which, by the way, Series 3 now available on Netflix as of today.
Awesome.
Cool.
So, if you haven't seen it yet, get out there. Watch it.
But yeah, so anyway, enough ranting. Sorry.
Well, how much time do we put on there?
We're about right at an hour.
Right an hour. Okay.
So we're good.
Yeah, I think we should probably close that off.
Okay.
We'll just cut that off right there.
So for those of you listening this week, we are nary a subject show this week just because of situations. I had an anniversary yesterday, 3 years. Yay! Married to my wonderful wife, Jennifer Vancouver, who will never hear this
Yes.
because she just doesn't listen to the show. But
That's
whatever.
Okay. We know you just wanted your nookie.
Anniversary, Nikki. Actually, truth be told, night before, but
So you didn't even get laid last night, and you made us wait. And you made us wait around for no reason. Okay.
no, it's spend time together.
He was going for a double nookie and it didn't happen.
We got ice cream.
Where's my ice cream? You didn't bring.
You had
me,
ice cream.
You did not bring me ice cream.
Not yet.
I don't care.
It's not your anniversary.
I was there. It's my anniversary of being your groomsman.
Oh, touche.
So where's my ice cream?
I don't. In my belly.
Bastard.
Well, go get it. No.
Oh, sweet fuck. Okay.
All right.
We're
Let
gonna
me get
end
my
this.
knife out real quick.
No, huh?
So let me get my knife out real quick.
Oh, Jesus. A lot of violence on this show tonight. Especially right towards the end. We started with lovey-dovey reading Rainbow and yay quantum physics and scoliosis right into kill all. And Glenn Beck's an idiot.
It's been a full spectrum show.
Yes, it
It has been.
We love you. Our
And remember,
audience.
Glenn Douchemaster Beck is an idiot.
You should all email him and express your frustration with his lack of knowledge. Yes.
Not that it will do anything.
Yeah. Go right through his "this isn't relevant" folder. Because it doesn't agree with me.
Yep.
So, all right, well, we'll wrap this up for the night. Again, no subject show this week. But if you have any ideas for a subject, by all means, you can always email those at feedback@nerdeffect.com. Message us on Facebook as normal. We do have a couple of topics. One that's was suggested to us. I'll run by these guys. Nikki thought it was a good idea.
We'll talk about that off here.
Yes. That was the plan.
Okay.
I wanted to stop you just in case you were going to keep your mouth was going to keep going.
No.
Okay.
All right. So for the Nerd Effect podcast and this week's news show, we have been
Michael Morgan.
Mason Ireland.
I am Dustin Vancouver, and we will catch you guys next week.